Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we'll discuss design compressive member. In that, what is compression member, which type of section we can use in a design, what is effective length, what is slenderness ratio, and what is types of compaction section. So before we start design of compression member, what is compression member? So a structural member which is subjected to axial compressive force is known as compression member. So there are the two main type of compression member. First one is column and second one will be strut. What is column? So when a compression member is oriented vertically, it is known as column. A compression member which may be oriented at any direction and has significant bending is called strut. So a column we can use as a vertically to resist compression member, and strut will be provided it vertical and inclined also. So strut will be used in steel truss structure in industrial building. So column will be designed as a vertical member, strut will be designed inclined as a vertical member. Now what is types of section we can use for compression member? So the shape of compression member depends upon the availability of section, the connection problem and types of structure, various possible configuration that may be used as a compression member as you have to see in our figure: single angle, double angle, T, channel section, I section, circular section, rectangle section. Next one is built up section for four angle box section with cover plate and built up section. So these are the section we can use as a compression member. So what should be the different in a shape? So single angle section are used as a compression member in lightly loaded truss or tower, while in case of single angle are used in lightly truss or tower. There are another two types of single angle: equal angle and second one will be unequal angle. So what is equal angle? When the length of angle, or you can say the size parameter, are equal in both the leg is called equal angle. What is unequal angle? So the both the leg size are different is called unequal angle. So equal angle section may be uneconomical than unequal angle section because their least radius of gyration is called R. Value are greater for the same area of steel. So now in double angle bolted or welded are normally used as top and bottom chord member of trusses. So double angle are used in bottom chord of trusses and single angle we can use as a strut or column. Next we find out what is effective length of compression member. So the effective length of compression member is the distance between point of contraflexure, it means zero moment, of a buckle column. It depends upon the actual length of column and their end condition. The actual length of column is taken as length from center to center of interaction with supporting member. So the effective length is directly proportional to the end condition of column. So under the ideal condition and the boundary condition of column may be idealized in one of the following ways. First one is both end hinge, second one is both end fix, third one is one end fix and other is hinge, fourth one is one end fix and other is free. These all are given to you in IS 800 code with figure. So what is the effective length depending on the end condition will be seen in next figure. So first case, when both end are pin, the effective length is same as the original length. Second case, fix, one end fix and other is free, the effective length is 2 times. You can see that case B. One end fix, other is free, that effective length should be twice to the original length. Third case, when both end are fixed, the effective length is half to the original length. And fourth one is one end pinned and other end fixed, the effective length you can see that K is equal to 0.7 times original length. So this 4 way we can find out effective length of column. Now slenderness ratio. So what is slenderness ratio? So the slenderness ratio is equal to effective length of column divided by minimum radius of gyration. What is effective length of column? That will be discussed. It's depending on end condition of column. Now minimum radius of gyration. So minimum radius of gyration we can find out according to our steel table. In that steel table, different different section we can find out rxx and ryy. In that, both the value rxs and ryy, whichever is minimum, is our minimum radius of gyration. So lambda, it means slenderness ratio, is equal to effective length of column divided by minimum radius of gyration. Now what is the effect of lambda in our compression member? So if lambda is more, its load carrying capacity will be less. So we have to maintain the lambda. Before we find out or maintain the lambda, we require the effective length and minimum radius of gyration. So lambda will be reduced. So that's why we can take as a R, it means R minimum radius of gyration. Then and then we can maintain that. If lambda is more, the load carrying capacity will be less. So we cannot allow more value of lambda in compression member. Next, short compression member and long compression member. Now what should be the difference between short compression member and long compression member? So for short compression member, L by R, it means length upon radius of gyration. It should be less than or equal to 88.85. Then is called short compression member. For Fy is equal to 250. The failure stress is equal to the yield stress. So there are no buckling will occur in that case, but it has not practical application. So in real field or application, we not use short compression member. So we can use long compression member. What is long compression member? So actually buckling stress is below the proportional limit and they will be buckle elastically, and Euler's formula give the strength of long column. So here Euler's formula are used to find out the design of long compression member. If we find out design of short compression member, then we can use Rankine's formula. But it's not practically possible to use short compression member. So in our field, we can use long compression member. Now compression member failure. In which way the compression member should be fail? So there are three basic type of failure. First one is compressive material failure, very short and fat. Second one is buckling failure, very long and skinny. Third one is combination of both, first and second. It means compressive and buckling failure. The length and width of column is in between short fat and long skinny column. Now what is local failure of buckling? Start with the first failure of buckling of compression. First, local buckling. So this occur when the some part of X section of column are so thin that buckle locally in compression before other mode failure can occur. So failure occur by local buckling is one or more individual plate element. You can see that figure, like it should be affected on flange or web also, with on an overall deflection of normal to the applied load. You can see the failure of X type. Either it should be a flange or it should be a web of column. How can prevent this failure? So this failure by local buckling can be prevented to selecting suitable B by T ratio of component or plate. So we avoid this buckling failure. We can select suitable B by T ratio for our section. Second one is flexure buckling. So also called Euler buckling, is the primary type of buckling member are subjected to banging or flexure when they become unstable. So again it should be a depend on types of end condition and is proportional to this length. So its failure is called flexural buckling of compression failure. Third one is squeezing. When the length of column is relatively small and the column is stocky and its component plate are prevent from local buckling, the column will be able to attain full strength of failure. So is called squeezing. When the length of column is relatively small and column is stocky, the components plate prevent local buckling. So what is squeeze load? So squeeze load is denoted by yield stress multiplied by cross sectional area. So it directly proportional to cross sectional of your area of section that will be used to resist the compression force. So these three types of failure we can covered in our design criteria also. So we can find out safe section against resist of compression favor. Next, cross section classification. So as per the IS 800/2007, cross section are placed into 4 behavior class depending upon the material, yield strength and the width to thickness ratio of individual component like flange and web within the cross section and the loading arrangement. So the 4 class of section are defined as a follow. You can see in this figure. First one is slender, semi-compact, compact and plastic. So first one is slender. So cross section in which the element buckle locally even before reaching yield stress is called slender. What is semi-compact? So cross section in which extreme fiber in compression can reach in yield stress but cannot develop the plastic moment. So this is the stage. It's not in elastic but it's not in start with the plastic moment is called semi-compact. What is compact? So cross section which can develop plastic moment to resist but have adequate plastic hinge rotation capacity because the local buckling. Now compact is now it should be reach in a plastic moment but it not capacity to rotate against local buckling. And fourth one is plastic. So cross section in which can develop plastic hinge and have rotation capacity required the failure of structure by the formation of this plastic mechanism. So these are 4 stage we can classify the section in slender, semi-compact, compact and plastic. These 4 stage identify for the section and then we can find out that class either it should be covered in slender, semi-compact, compact or plastic. So in next lecture or next video we can elaborate the design compressive strength. Thank you.